everyone. Welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Coach Caren Fern talking about profits in daily. Coach Caren is here all the way from Toronto, Canada. And we are always excited when she's in the house dropping those nuggets. So, guys, get your pen and paper ready, and let's get ready to learn something new. Coach, what do you have for us today?
Well, we're doing a series. It started last week, and we're talking about planning for 2025. Yes, guys, it's just 3 months away. We're going to do the planning. We're going to do it a portion this month, and we're going to do a portion next month. So, last week we talked about the we started beginning series where we talk about writing down everything that you've accomplished, doing some dumping, and then seeing yourself 6 months away. Today, we're going to talk about a 6 months goal and how that's broken down. And we're doing it in these sections because I really want to give you a chance to take some time to really see where you want to be. This is not a rush job. This is why you're not trying to do to the end of December. You're doing it and giving yourself time so you can go back and tweak things so that you can have a really flourishing, flowing, wonderful 2025. Whatever is happening in the world, you have no control over, only the things you're doing and responsible for. So let's do that. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to hear or listen. It just means don't get caught up in it. Okay. All right. Without any further ado, we're going to talk about three main things. How would doing your plan for the 6 month feel? Like, how did it feel when I had you do the experiment? I'm going to write those things down. It's important. And the timeline might feel long for the results. And sometimes that makes you don't want to do it, but the time is still going to pass, guys. So you really want to understand these sort of things. Big businesses do this all the time. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And let's start the money talk to keep you moving, because we're going to talk about a little bit of money in there. We have to. So when I said, how would your plans for the 6 months feel? I want to write how it make you feel. If you're angry, write it down. If you feel it's going to take too long, write it down. If it upsets you, write it down. These are not words to push aside. These are words to confront and understand where the root cause is and look after it. Because when you do, you're going to feel better. Things is going to be really better for you. My eldest son, godmother, her dad owned a winery. And when Mr. Correa retired, semi-retire, I would say, that's when I knew them. And I was a girl at the time. But everything was planned out 3 years in advance, and the family sit around when the new year going to begin and just talk about all the wine that is being produced, employees, money, what has to happen, what else is going on, because I think he had one son, but mostly girls, and about 6 of them. So everybody, even if you went outside and had a job, got educated, and did something else, you were still part of the family business. So you were still in the discussion. So he wasn't stopping you from going to do what you want to do, but he kept you in there and in the loop. And it was good so that everybody knows, if something happened outside and they can't continue, there's this place to go back to, but they're not coming back in lost. And I encourage people when they're planning that they look after themselves in this planning, also their business. I preach this and I will keep preaching it, because you're part of your business. You are your business. You're one with your business. You need to plan it. If you have a family and you haven't done this yet, this is something I'll encourage you to do. Sit around and talk to your family about money openly. If you're broke, tell them you're broke. If you don't know where money coming from, tell them you don't know where money coming from. If you know that you're planning to do something, tell them. You don't have to give them the nitty gritty, but what you'll say to them is, hey, this is the thing I'm starting. And I don't mean everybody outside of the family. I mean the people who live in your house, your children, and if you're supposed to have a good relationship, right? Let me just tell you this right now. If you know your spouse will not be rooting for you, this might sound bad, leave him out of it, or leave her out of it, because you don't need that. But your children, the reason I want you to talk to them about it, it's because I want them included And I want them to understand why mommy, because mostly women I deal with, is going to need some extra time per week. Why
Mm,
some time is going to be shortened. I don't want them to think you don't want to spend time with them or you can't do this. You want to tell them so that they get some understanding. Depending on the age, they might hear you right away and they might take a while to hear you. But if you say to them, once a month, we'll talk about where mommy's at, business, herself, and work. And that same time, you can get an opportunity to share with mommy what you want to do, what you're trying to do, because sometimes we miss hearing this when we're just passing and doing a lot of busy things. What this will do for you as a woman will help you to really not feel guilty, as guilty because some people just is guilty ridden people, but not as guilty because you've had a conversation with your children. So if you were taking them to a game and you say, you might have seen me looking up for every T-ball hit because I'm writing something in my pad, but I'm paying attention. So the kid is not hitting the ball and saying, Mom is not looking because you've
mm,
talked to them before. When they come back to the car, let them know you saw some of the game, but some of the game you just couldn't. Be honest with them. This is part of life. Kids need to know these things happen, and it helps you to feel less guilty. What does have to do with you planning for your business? It's going to help you to churn along better, knowing that this conversation is ongoing. This
mm.
conversation is happening. A kid might have an idea to do something, but if you're not that kind of parent, they might think they can talk to you about it. All of a sudden, you just open this door that you can have this conversation. Not because they might do anything right away, but to know that they could talk to mommy about this stuff. At the same time, you're not warned by the parent who don't care about that stuff. You're not talking anything bad about them. You're not getting angry with them. You're focusing on what you're doing. Sometimes we leave this out, but I just want to let you guys know you put that in place so that you can keep your planet. You can keep focusing on what you're doing. That means you're looking after you, your mind, your body, and your spirit. You're looking after you. Business is an add-on of your already life that you have designed.
Mm. Okay, so this is what you meant by looking out for you. Okay, all
You
right.
got it.
That was going to be my question. How do you look out for yourself? Okay.
You have to. You have to. You have to be mindful. Partnerships is funny that way. Sometimes people don't believe in you until they see the money, or
Mm,
others are cheering for you. And
mm-hmm.
you can control that with them. And please don't waste your time trying. I beg of you. Don't waste your time trying. There's a waste of time. You can develop and decide that time. It is very, very important. Okay. Find a friend over time that you can talk to about anything when you feel stuck and can't move and you're
Mm,
not ready yet for a coach. And even if you're ready for a coach, get a friend that you can do that with to help you through. The time, number two was the timeline. Because 6 months feel like a long time, you know,
mm-hmm. It
but
does.
but there's so much to be done. And we underestimate starting a business and how long it takes. Or let me just say, if you're in a business already, but you're feeling stuck, it takes time to get you out to because it took you time to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
When someone started a business, never had a business, or had business but it didn't go too well, your body, subconscious and physical body, remind you of the failures in the business, not the good things, just the failing part. And so, whether you understand or not, when you're planning, all of that is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes up differently. It comes up making you feel tired, more tired than you are. So you have to ask the question, am I really tired? And if you are, go rest. Or am I dehydrated and I need water? Or do I need more physical activity in my life? Am I eating right? Like, ask these questions because it could be a whole bunch of things that you're not addressing because you're into, I got to come home from work. I got to look after these kids. I need my house in order and I need to run a business. It could be a whole lot of things happening. And that's why it takes time for you to really figure out what is going on and address it. I'm a spreadsheet queen, so therefore I'm going to tell you put it on a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet, or whatever, because
Mm-hmm.
I want you to actually understand how this stuff work. I want you to really get in there and do it. Even business school, and I attended, and they don't go into really helping people figure this stuff out. They give
Okay.
you the broad picture.
Yes.
But they don't give you this nitty gritty that I find when people are starting or stuck in business, don't understand that these are things that you have to deal with, that you have to walk through or recognize at the least, so you can do something about. And so when I say it's going to take you long to see results, it's not like you're not going to make any money or the business won't do anything. It's just these are the things what's happening. But if you plan it a year before, you kind of leave in this wiggle room, you know. Terry, you like leaving this wiggle room to
Yes,
understand
yes,
you,
I
do the
do.
dance with you, take a break if need to. I
Mhm.
often ask people to have it built in. Something I learned when I was a teenager before I hit 21 was that I can work, but I must give myself a couple of days off each month. That's the first thing I learned. And then twice a year, I take 2 weeks off
Mm.
and I would come back like a powerhouse. And I learned that I couldn't be afraid to tell my clients. So I would start talking to them, and I had a food business. I would start saying, the next week you guys gonna Karen come to Karen because I'm not gonna be doing anything. So if you had a party, you want to order anything, here's my timeline. If the party is happening and I used to be the catering in that time, then you're gonna have to find a different vendor because I won't be available. I will not take it on, even if it gives me a lot of money, because I will be burnt out for the rest of the year. And I
Mm.
was running a big business and had a couple of people working for me, and I needed to make sure that I can continuously do it. And so time is important. So when you're planning you 6 months, you're like 6 months, yeah, you can build in there where you take time off, where you're free from. And when I mean free from the business, that's what I mean. I don't mean you're at the computer trying to do this and that. I mean you literally take it off. If you know you can't take off a week, then pencil in 2 days. Pencil in 2 days, okay, so that you can actually do it. And that what I mean with that 2 days is I don't even want you to do things around the house. I don't want you to take those 2 days and clean the house. I don't want you to take those 2 days and wash clothes. I don't want you to take those 2 days and stay in the kitchen cooking. We can get to the money part and talk to you a little bit about that in a minute. I really truly want you to take the time, whether you
Mm.
went on people watch, you went to the movies, you went for a walk, you meet with a friend and have brunch, lunch, I don't care. Like you're doing something for you, or you read a book. You, if the weather is nice, you outside, you go to the park, you did a picnic, whatever. Something relaxing and something to rejuvenate you and get you back there. I know you're still going to think about your business. I'm not silly. I understand. That's what we do. But I don't want you to actually do anything. That's the point. So that would be built in there in the 6 months that you're building out. That'll be built in. Companies are recognizing and giving people 3 weeks leave the first year now. They're realizing that people need built-in time. Over here, you get 3 weeks off, you get 3 or 7 professional days off, plus you have the 12 days, sick days. And they're encouraging people to take them because they're not transferring it over to the next year. So your own business should have these sort of things built in. And if you're not sure, we'll look up the labor laws wherever you are, see how it is if you're not in a job. But if you're in a job, you know already. So work accordingly.
Yes,
Do
Americans
yourself.
leave a lot of vacation time on the table. We are infamous for that.
Make sure you get the time. Make sure you get the time. Your body needs time to rest, not only sleep, rest, but just rest. It will thank you. It needs to repair things within itself, and it needs time to do that. Okay?
Mhm,
It needs time.
mhm.
So let's talk about money to keep you moving. Because in that spread, you better be putting on your spreadsheet the monies you want to make, the number. And then when the number is there, what that number is looking like in revenue, what it's looking like when all the expenses out, profitability, business money leaving in the business, and how you're being paid. I want it to be strategically on that spreadsheet so you understand and you know what's supposed to happen. You're not scrambling. Oh, Coach All was able to make his $25. No, 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 no. That's not what we said on the spreadsheet. That's not what we're doing. We're putting it there and we're going according to it. That means you have to do the work that you said you're going to do to see the results you want.
Mhm.
And once you build that in, if you know that your housework, your cooking and gross, all the stuff is a lot on you, I want you, for personal sake, I want you to figure out when in the year you'll be able to hire help, whichever help
Mhm.
you need first, whether it's cleaning help or housekeeper help or help drive the kids to some kind of thing, help, whatever help. I want you to put it in there, and I want you to put a number to it. If you don't know the number, call around, find out the cost, and put a number to the services you want to hire out. That's the personal hire. Okay. And if the business start moving, and if you have it lined up and you see that there could be a future helper and assistant in the business world, you cater for that too. So all that is in the planning. And remember, this is for the following year. So we're doing it this year. So you don't have to rush and do it. We're just doing the planning, guys. Just remember, like when I plan a week ahead, I get to see on my schedule what got done, what is coming up, because it's there. It's sitting there waiting for me. So I'm not feeling too flustered because I'm not planning it today for today. It's on the schedule. And when I need to move it, when it's done, it gets moved off the schedule. This is the other great part about planning. Everything that you plan to do, when it's done, you get to move it off the schedule. If it's an ongoing thing, then it's an ongoing thing, right? But you get to move it off. That's the beauty. Remember that part, right? That's the fun part. And same with the monies, right? When you set up the monies and you decide how it's going to work, if you say, I want to make myself $100,000 this year. Well, I want you to sit and see the services, the product, the things you want to do that's going to truly give you that $100,000. And would that 100,000 be revenue? You need to know that. You need to state that. And if you want it to be the net, then what is the true number to get you to net 100,000? We got to look at taxes. We look at expense. We look at hiring. All those things are involved. If you're not sure, talk to an accountant. You eventually need to hire a bookkeeper to keep you on track on the everyday things that's happening. All that is expense in your business. And if you know that you want to build a business and that's not your strong point, hire it out. Don't make fun with your money. Don't play around with your dollar because you're not going to have any of it. And sometimes you don't need a bookkeeper monthly. Sometimes you need a quarterly bookkeeper. Sometimes you need somebody to check in on your books once or twice a year. You can hire that out too. And then you need your accountant for year-end stuff. Your bookkeeper can have all that stuff ready for your accountant so they can do your taxes and all these wonderful things can happen, right? But it coming from you planning out your services, your products, what you're going to do, the time you have, the energy you're going to give yourself. This is so important so you can run this great business. So many people also don't talk about how the reason people just say, I'm burnt out. But it really means I didn't use my time wisely. Time doesn't run you. You decide on your time. If you know you need an hour in the morning to journal, spend time with the Lord, thinking time, dreaming time, like whatever it is that is for you, please give it to yourself. You're not taking away from anybody. Give it to yourself. Physical. I know physical, anything I do in movement gives me more energy. So I want to work in that. I want to make sure I dedicate 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever that time is for me. And then I want 10 minutes after it's done to just take in the breath, be very thankful that my body's able to work and do the things that I'm doing, that I set out to do. And then comes my shower and breakfast that I know I'm going to enjoy. And then I come to work. And I know this in my head, but it's still on my spreadsheet. It's still on my spreadsheet. And here is one of the biggest reasons why. Once it's on my spreadsheet, I get to get up and see it. I know it's in my head, it's there, I can see it. Here's the other thing. When I don't do it, when I don't get to it, I literally have this written on my spreadsheet. Was it done on time? WIDOT. I just break them down into letters, right? What caused the delay? The wins, the no-shows, meaning I didn't show up. Was I sick? Did I delay? Did I stay up too late? That's why I didn't do it. Did I self-sabotage? I answer those questions. This is important to keep you on track. This is you self elevating yourself and self moving around. Over time, these things take a minute to do. It doesn't take long, but when you begin it, it do take a little while. And I think I'm gonna get together this setup that I've been building out, and I'm going to do it as a freebie and give the biz chicks that they can give it out to people who need it. It's just a good little resource, you know. What do you think, Terry?
Oh, thank you. I think could really benefit from that. Mm-hmm.
And then you do a daily wrap up, and I give myself points. So
Mm-hmm.
points I gained for showing up and doing the things I'm going to do, and points that is taken away when I didn't do as much. And I
Oh.
decide what I get. I give myself stickers, a little dance, silly little
Mhm.
things that makes me smile.
Oh, that's a good idea because it's
you
like
know,
an incentive.
Yeah, I mean it's really great. I get ice cream, right? When I have like a really great week, I get ice cream. I like ice cream,
That's one way to reward yourself and to take the guilt out of calories.
right?
Earning it, right?
I know ice cream is not the best gift, but I like ice cream, and so I'm having
Okay.
it, guys. Okay, I'm just telling you. And every time you meet the money goals, right? Every time you're planning the money goals,
Mm-hmm.
and what you want to happen in the first quarter, what you want to have happen in the second quarter, which is going to give you the 6 months, half a year. If you don't hit your goals half a year, because you've taken time to know what you're going to do, to write it down, and to see what I just stated there is kind of giving you the pattern of you. This is you. If it was on a chart, it would show you how you are and what you do. And
Mm-hmm.
you really get to evaluate the person you are. You know, when people come for coaching, people who understand who they are, they're better at seeing the benefit of coaching at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things first I never used to like acknowledge, but it's really true. It helped them to see coaching at a higher level. It helped them to see me as their accountability, but to help them think differently and to strategize and not to see the exercise as a punishment, but more as something to grow them in the direction they claim they want to go, they dream to go. So this is like a builder to help you understand if I'm on never on time, why am I never on time? I give myself the time at to be here doing X, Y, and Z. What is holding me back? And I get to self-examine that. That's why when you go to the doctor, he asks you, so is your head hurting you? How long it has been hurting you? Did you bend down a lot? Did you hit your
Yes.
head? Like he goes through this processes. You don't know. I don't know, doc. You weren't paying attention. If you were
Mm-hmm.
just keeping track, if I used to get a lot of headaches, had a friend used to get migraine, I would say this to her, do you know what triggers your migraine? She's like, what do you mean, Karen? I just get migraine. I'm like, no, something triggers it. When my daughter had asthma, me and her doctor figured out over testing and paying attention. I used to write notes about it. The dew in the morning triggers her asthma.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was going to school far, to college far, I would get up 5 in the morning. So by 5:36, she's out the house. That morning dew would start flare up her asthma. So we had to still take her, but to bundle her up like crazy and then scoot her in the car. Yeah, that. And once we did that,
Mm-hmm.
the asthma attacks just keep diminishing, diminishing, diminishing. And I promise you, business feels hard and it's a lot of hard work. I'm not going to be here to tell you it isn't. But what
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you is if you understand what you're building, where you're going with it, why you're doing it, and you're willing to take the time to plan it out, you will see success. Success will is a must. It's not if. It's going to happen because you're doing the stuff you told yourself you want to do, the things you want to see. And you'd understand also if you said I want to make $100,000, but you start realizing how many what it take from you, then you might want to settle at 60 to 75,000 for the year because you're in your first year and you're beginning. But if you were stuck and the business used to make a quarter of a million, 240,000, and now you're like, I'm ready to go to half a million or even $1 million, you're understanding why, what it will take. Now, if you don't want to move, if you're feeling stuck, sometimes it's because fear of making more money, and
Mm,
that is a thing. Because if you charge somebody $100 for a product, and now you got to charge 500, you'll be like this. It's uh five yeah $500. It wouldn't come off like that to the person, but inside of you, it's hard for it to come out.
mm,
And that's what happens when you want to make more money, right? That's what happens. And so the stuck feeling is it's going to take more work, which probably is not true. It's going to make me have to talk to different people I don't like, which don't have to be true, but
mhm.
it could be. But you know, it's going to talk to a different caliber of people. Because if you're talking to people who, if you want to make certain money, you got to talk to a different caliber of people who can afford to pay you. That's a fact. The person has to have disposable income. And if they don't, you're going to struggle to be paid.
Wow.
And that conversation is going to be different. It's not going to be the nitty gritty thing. It's going to be the big thing that I want. Karen, I want to do $50,000 a month and I'm stuck.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get me there? And you can't get them there without knowing where they've been before. So my question is where you've been, and we talk about it. And then we work on the things that have you stuck to get you to the $50,000 a month that you would be wanting, right? So same thing for you. While you're there in that muddle, you can't get out of it because A, you're afraid of talking to new people, hard people. You think big people with bigger money, you think that doesn't mean anything. They're still human beings. And
Mm-hmm.
your expertise is good enough for them. Let me just tell you, no matter who you are, the expertise is good enough for them. If they seek you out or you advertise and they look at you, they want to use you as their service provider, you be that.
Yes.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So that's what I'll say for this segment of the series. We got one more coming up next week, and we will talk about the 3 months goal. So we start big picture.
6 months.
Everything is a big picture, and
Mm-hmm.
then we move all the way down until we get it to those steps that you come in, whether your workplace is your sofa or a desk or you have an office and you do the work that you set out to do. You're not looking around and say, oh, I wonder what I should do today. No, you go do what you're supposed to do today.
Wow. Coach. Let me go up here. Coach Caren.
Yes,
There we go. I love the fact that you start us here with the macro, and now you're going to bring us down gradually to the daily things, because so many times we start with the daily
yes,
and then we
yes,
feel overwhelmed because we're thinking
yes,
about the macro, but we, you know
hmm
what I mean? And
yes,
we're
yes,
trying to figure out how we're going to get this done in one day
yes,
because that's what we're focused on.
yeah,
Thank you so much for giving us a different perspective on how to approach this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait till next week to find out about the 3 month plan. But seriously, the 6 month plan. And I like the fact that you are having us sit down and talk with our families, with our support system. And we know who within that ecosystem is
yes,
supportive and who is not. And
yes.
I like the fact that you told us if you know that someone is in your family and they're not supportive, don't solicit them, don't share with them,
No,
because it's only going to affect how you feel about your business, and it may make you give up
yes, yes.
or never start. So, with that, we want to just thank you, Coach, for all that you do. We want to remind everybody that if you're looking to connect with Coach Caren, you can find her over on Profits in Daily. Also, you may want to actually book an appointment with Coach Caren. And so, we're going to share this link. You can take a screenshot of that and come in and book an appointment with Coach Caren, or you can direct message her on Facebook or Instagram. We love Coach Caren. She has so much expertise in so many different areas. She's run many successful businesses, and I know you're going to find her information and her coaching valuable. So, with that, we want to remind you that if you're looking to become a part of Biz Chicks, you can simply text Biz to 33777,
Seven.
or you can find us over at bizchicks.net.
Dot net.
So with that, we want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business.
Yes, it is. Please.
Mhm. Yes, it is. So go to the front of your own line. We'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.